Hey guys, how are you? It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. So great to be with you. Today is Friday. It's April 25th, and this is the last Friday in the month of April for 2025. There are no more Fridays in the month of April in 2025. Next Friday is going to take us to not the first, but the second of May, and hopefully a lot of warm things are coming then. But welcome, everyone. I do invite you to stop on over if you haven't been there to believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, of course, inspired creations that you can check out 24 hours a day, from short form content to long form content. And you can do that after the show is over. Definitely check that. Well, we've had an amazing week, guys. And the topic for the week, I should say the big master topic is speak to be heard. That's pretty powerful. Now, tonight's final topic for the Master Series, the granular topic, is Speak to Connect, Not Just to Talk, Series 4, Show 17. Hey, by the way, guys, if you are thirsty or a little parched, I have my fresh RO water here. Feel free to go to the kitchen, get something like water, maybe soda or some other drink, or maybe something hot or cold. You probably don't want anything hot right now. Maybe it's a snack, maybe something healthy like fruit or nuts, something tart, something sweet, or not. It's totally up to you. All right, guys. Again, it is so wonderful to be with you here this evening, Friday evening. And of course, I do want to welcome you to, yes, Inspirations for Your Life. I'm your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. And like I said, it's always such a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be with you every single time that I am here producing content for you. So thank you very, very much, everyone. Have you ever felt like your words were floating in the air with no anchor? That's what happens when we speak without aiming to connect. In this episode of Inspirations for Your Life this evening, I'm going to unpack the difference between just talking and truly connecting. Whether you're in the boardroom, the classroom, or the living room, these 10 strategies that I'm going to share with you exclusively tonight will help you elevate your conversations, foster genuine relationships, and yes, become a communicator that others actually want to listen to. So let's break it all down. That's the cycle of noise, and start speaking with intention and empathy. So let's kick it off. I know I've got my water here, and it is delicious. All right. So number one is knowing your audience. Knowing your audience. Connection, ladies and gentlemen, starts with understanding before you speak. Ask yourself, who am I talking to? What do they care about? What language do they speak? Literally and metaphorically. When you tailor your message to your audience's values, interest, and level of understanding, you invite them into the conversation. Instead of talking at them, it's inviting them to be part of the conversation. It's not about changing your message, it's about changing your lens. Because if you were teaching something, let's say it was a technical topic or maybe it was a financial topic, you wouldn't change the message. You would change how you got it off to the person, right? That's important. It's not about changing your message, it's about changing your lens. The better you know who you are speaking to, the more effective and memorable your message will be. And I think that's something that a lot of people in this world, well, they miss it. And the reason they miss it is because I think they just get stuck, right? And they don't know how to get out of that, let's say, stuck phase or quicksand, right? And they just find themselves sinking deeper and deeper, right? Number two, listening before responding in a world that moves so darn fast. True listening is rare and incredibly powerful. Yeah. When we really listen, we don't just hear the words, we absorb the emotion, the tone, and the unsaid things between the lines. It shows respect, it builds rapport. Most importantly, it gives your response substance. When you respond after truly listening, you validate the speaker and elevate the conversation. Remember, silence isn't empty. It's a space for connection. And there's a lot that can happen in silence. You can gain an epiphany moment. You can realize that maybe you should have said something a different way. Thank you for the reaction, MD. Appreciate that this evening. So that's important. Number three, using relatable language. Nobody should connect like a robot and talk just like this. That is very annoying. Yes, don't want to do that. Stop that. People connect with stories, with humor, with metaphors, and familiar expressions. Relatable languages don't mean dumbing things down, guys. It means lifting others up into your world in a way that's comfortable and clear to them. Think of how you explain something to a friend. That's often the tone that hits home the most. If your words can paint a picture in the listener's mind, you're winning the connection game. All right. Showing empathy in your tone. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Your tone tells people whether you care, whether you're open, and whether they're safe in your presence. Empathy in your voice can diffuse tension, encourage vulnerability, and establish trust. A warm tone creates a human bridge that content alone can't build. Think of tone as your emotional gateway or signature that lets everyone know you care. You're curious, and of course, unleashing your compassion. Number five, guys, reading nonverbal cues. We've talked about this a little bit in the past. Words only tell part of the story. The rest is a little bit different. It's in the body language, right? We said something very important, Mr. McArabian. You remember the rule? It was was it the 735, 58, was it communication rule? You remember that rule, the 738, 55. 7% is the words you choose, 38% is how you say things, and 55% is what you don't say, how your body communicates. That's important. So it's in the body language. It's in the folded arms. It's in the darting eyes, the raised eyebrows, right? These silent signals offer powerful feedback. By turning in to nonverbal cues, you can gauge your listener's comfort, interest, or confusion and adjust your delivery on the fly. First, similar to the way we can look at a thermostat in our home or look at our iPhone and change or see the temperature at any one of our properties, right? So that's something we can do, very easily. And I think when we have a gauge for something, it allows us to be able to make changes. We can't fix something, guys. We can't measure. So if you want to get better at something, you first have to figure out how to measure it. When you learn to listen with your eyes, okay, with both eyes, you create a dynamic conversation that adapts in real time and shows your listener that you're present. That's right. I said listen with your eyes. I know that sounds strange, but it means you've got to pay extra attention because you can miss things if you're not 100% tuned in to the moment. Number six, matching energy and the pace. Have you ever been overwhelmed by someone talking this so fast? They're talking so fast, you can't understand what they're saying, and you know what they're saying, and this, I don't talk like that. Have you ever been overwhelmed by someone talking a mile a minute? You can't understand what the heck they're saying, right? And when you're feeling slow and reflective, it makes a difference. Or maybe underwhelmed by someone dragging when you were full of energy. So that's a nice thing you're doing. What are we doing this weekend? I don't know. I'll probably go out and like that's just like too much. Um, just dragging on. Matching someone's energy and speaking pace is a subtle but a powerful tool that allows you to build rapport in seconds, guys. It helps others feel seen and understood, and it creates an emotional rhythm that fosters a sense of truth. Mirroring isn't imitation, it's alignment, right? All right. So, number seven, adjusting the message delivery style. How you say something, as we just said before, can be as impactful as what you say. Some people absorb information visually, others prefer stories, and some respond best to facts and data. Adapting your communication style to fit the setting, whether it's a meeting, a podcast, coffee chat, a one-on-one with someone. This allows your message to be, let's say, pinpointed and jetted so that it lands in the way it's meant to. Great communicators are flexible and they're chameleons. They adapt on the fly. They don't just know their message, they know how to deliver it in multiple ways. And if you're not getting a response with your message, just like with social media, maybe you need to look at what is my message? Why am I not getting this? Right? I think that's a very, very important thing, guys. And so we have to make sure that we understand our message and we know what it is because we could be talking and hope that our message is going to get rapport, but when we play it backwards, like, wait a minute, I wouldn't even pay attention to that. Like what was I thinking? So make sure you check in on yourself, right? Frequently, I do listen to these podcasts and shows just to see how did I come off, right? Always looking at things. What could I have done better? Different things like that, right? So that is a very, very important thing. And, I think if you can understand that your message can be said in multiple ways, that's a big, big milestone to achieving a success. Number 8, avoiding assumptions. Assumptions build walls, not bridges. When we assume what others know or feel, we risk miscommunication, offense, or worse, disconnect, right? Um, Instead, ask questions, clarify often, be curious, approaching communication with an open mind rather than a predetermined conclusion, create space for honest dialogue and mutual respect. It's not about being cautious, it's about being conscious. What's the difference? So, cautious is like, you know that there is a hot pot on the stove. And every time you walk into the kitchen, you pass the stove and you don't want to hit it. So you're being cautious so you don't get burned. Conscious is okay, I know there's a pot on the stove. It's really hot. I'm conscious of it. I'm not cautious. I'm just conscious. So I'm going to make sure I stay to the left of it or something like that. Right. So when we take the framework of being conscious, we're able to, how do I say this? We're able to live in our power. I think that's something that's very, very amazing, guys. And you have more power, guys, than you think you do. Did you know that? You have more power than you think you do. And so everything comes down to a thought, guys. Everything comes down to a thought. Why? Because our thoughts create our reality. Our thoughts start to build the lens that we look through the world through and adjust to make it fit that way. But in reality, if we build a lens that's supposed to see color, and everything in our world is only black and white, well, that's a problem. But you get my idea, right? Did you get the idea how that works? And I think that's important for a lot of people to understand that you can do these things, but you have to be cognizant. You have to be conscious of what is going on in your mind, right? Um, I think some people don't understand. And the reason I say people don't understand is because they complain. Now, there's a difference, Lejeune, between complaining and giving some feedback or some, let's say, recap of a situation. I one time had given a recap of a situation, did not get detailed in the situation, but just because I was talking about the general area, the person thought I was being rude. And I even said to them, I don't want to get into the topic. This is a very sensitive area. However, this is kind of what happened afterwards. And I didn't talk about the topic, but the person, just because I was talking about it, but I didn't say what it was, they thought that was offensive. And I was trying to do everything to be polite. All right. So don't assume anything, right? We all know the assume is like that donkey that rides around out of you and me, so we do not ever want to assume. All right. So number 9, inviting dialogue, not a monologue. Oh, I love this. So a monologue is what you have when you're in a play and you're reading your lines, right? No one else is in it. You have a monologue. Great conversations are shared. If you're doing all the talking, you're not truly connecting, you're performing. Inviting dialogue means pausing, asking questions, and making space for others to speak. It tells people their voice matters, whether you're on a stage or in a one on one. Real influence comes not from dominating the airwaves, but from creating a rhythm of mutual exchange. I think that's very powerful, guys. And our last point for this evening is building trust through authenticity. The fastest way to lose someone's attention is to be inauthentic or to lie to them. People can sense when you're faking it. Authenticity isn't about perfection, guys. It's about being real. It's about owning your quirks, speaking from your truth, and showing up consistently. When people see that you're not just delivering a script, but sharing from the heart, well, they open up their mind and they choose to listen differently. They lean in, they connect, and they trust starts to build, which follows naturally. And I think a lot of people that are in conversations are on the fence, especially if somebody's new. They don't know whether they can trust that person or not. They don't know whether they can be vulnerable or not, right? They don't know that. And I think that is a big problem that whenever you're in a conversation, you have to be a little bit vulnerable, right? You have to be a little bit vulnerable. And I'm not saying you have to bring the whole kitchen sink, guys, but you have to be a little bit vulnerable. If you're not, well, then you're going to not open up any good doorways, right? And I think some people, they're always trying to protect, they're always trying to hide. Why are they doing that? Because they've been inauthentic their whole life. That's something. And I think if we can just take a moment just to recollect what that means, we can see that our thoughts, our mind, our beliefs will either propel us forward, hold us back, or allow us to backpedal. Nobody wants to backpedal, right? I don't think they do. So, when you talk to someone, do you sometimes feel intimidated by them because maybe they know more than you do? Or maybe you feel that if you don't answer things the right way, they might judge you. That's not somebody you want to be around. That's a hypocrite. So, knowing your audience, guys, knowing your audience. I once gave a workshop on leadership to a group of high schoolers using corporate jargon and business case studies. Within minutes, I saw the eyes just glaze over. And it was like I was speaking a foreign language, not to them, right? So I paused and I kind of scraped off some energy from the slides and I asked them what leadership looked like at their school. That sparked a real conversation about sports captains, club presidents, and even TikTok influencers. Wow. Same message, different lens. That moment taught me if you don't know your audience, your words are just noise. That's powerful, guys. Do you take the time to get to know your audience? Do you? If you do, great. If you don't, my question is, why not? And you might be saying to me, hey, John, the reason I don't is because I don't know what to say, what to do. Well, nobody knew what to say or what to do from the very beginning. So why should you be any different, right? I'm just asking you to be authentic. That's all I'm asking you to do. Be authentic. If you're authentic, everything else is going to fall into place. All right. That I promise you. It might not be perfect, but people don't want perfect people, right? People want sincere, honest people. Number two, listening before responding. A few years ago, a friend called me clearly very upset. I jumped into my fix it mode, being an engineer that I am, offering advice before they even finished their story. They went quiet on me and then said, I wasn't asking you to fix it. I just needed someone to hear me. And I was like, oh, to myself. That landed like a ton of bricks. Since then, I've learned to just keep my mouth shut, listen and not reply, but to understand. Sometimes silence is the most powerful thing we can offer because it gives others the space to feel seen. See, people want to feel something. Number three, using relatable language. I once had to explain cybersecurity to a group of small business owners, most of whom barely checked their email. I knew if I started throwing out terms like multi-factor authentication and phishing vectors, I would surely lose them within a heartbeat or two. And I think that's a very important thing to recognize and understand. So I said this. All right, everyone. You can keep your eyes open or close your eyes and imagine your business is your house. And a hacker is trying to sneak in through the doggy door. The analogy clicked. They asked questions, they got curious, and they remembered relatable language makes complex things feel approachable. I think that's a very, very important thing that most people don't realize. We have to give somebody something in their world. Just like when I'm in school, lots of the professor's talking about something in left field. He needs to make it relatable. Whenever I teach, I make it relatable into something that they already know, a concept, and then I try to bridge that. Number four, showing empathy in your own tone. During company layoff, I had to deliver some tough news. I went over what I wanted to say to get the points all correct. My voice came out a little stiff, a little robotic. Even one of the team members later told me, I wish you just sounded human. That feedback humbled me. The next time I spoke with my heart first, letting people hear the compassion in my voice, not just a script in my hand. Empathy isn't a bonus, it's essential in hard conversations. Number five, guys, reading nonverbal cues. At a networking event, I was chatting with someone and noticed them constantly glancing at their phone and shifting their feet. I kept talking, thinking they were just distracted. Later on, I found out they were anxious about catching a train. Had I picked up on those cues, I could have been respectful of their time. Now, I watch more closely a raised brow, a yawn, a lean. They all speak volumes. Conversations are 50% words, 50% conversation. So now I'll say something like, oh, I didn't mean to bore you. We could talk about something else. Oh, no, I just didn't get a lot of sleep last night. And you can make a joke like that. I didn't mean to bore you. I apologize. Oh, no, you're not. It's just I had all these things going last night. I didn't go to bed till 3. I only got 2 hours of sleep. So let them do that if they want. Number six, matching energy and pace. I once met a potential client who was calm, soft-spoken, and deliberate. I, on the other hand, came in with high energy. This is when I first started over 31 years ago. Fast talking and waving my hands, very excited. They looked a bit stunned. I noticed and adjusted, slowing down, softening my tone. Their shoulders started to relax. The meeting turned into a real exchange. That day, I learned that connecting means meeting people where they are, not where you think they should be. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned also as being a coach for many years. Meet somebody where they are and then take them to the level that they need to go to. Number seven, adjusting message delivery style. I gave a presentation using charts and graphs to a group of creative designers and writers. They were polite, but I could tell I lost them. Then I swapped to stories, real examples of how the data affected people's lives. They leaned in, asked questions, and started sharing their own stories. Some facts, different delivery. I should say the same, really. Since then, I've learned to ask myself, how would they best receive this? And communication is art, not just content. That's really, really important. Number eight, guys, avoiding assumptions. Once I was mentoring someone who seemed confident and quick-witted. I assumed they didn't need much support, just a push. Turns out they were struggling with imposter syndrome. just a push. Turns out they were struggling with imposter syndrome and felt completely lost. My assumption nearly cost them a valuable learning opportunity. From then on, I started asking more questions up front, checking in and staying curious because assumptions are just stories we write without all the facts. I also make sure that if I don't get certain questions answered, I don't move forward with them as a client. Because if we can't build communication, how can I ever be a great coach to them? Curiosity opens doors that assumptions slam shut. Let me say that again. Curiosity opens doors that assumptions slam shut. Curiosities open doors that assumptions slam shut. Number 9, inviting dialogue. Okay. I caught myself dominating the mic one time. Afterwards, one of the co-panelists gently said, "You made great points, but I don't think the audience got to hear themselves in the conversation." That stuck with me. Now I made a point to pause, ask questions, and pass the mic. And I think this is important, whether I'm hosting, I'm speaking, or I'm just chatting. Connection isn't about broadcasting like I do here. It's about creating a rhythm where everyone feels heard. But if I have a guest, it's a little bit of a different flow, isn't it? Number 10, guys, building trust through authenticity. Early in my speaking career, I tried to be what I thought was a professional should sound like: polished, formal, almost rehearsed. But the more I tried to sound impressive, the more I felt hollow. It wasn't until I started sharing my real stories, the flops, the real nightmares. Um, and those fears then changed people. The me behind the mic was what people wanted to now hear, that people started connecting with. They'd say, "John, I felt like you were talking like right to me." That's when I learned the real magic happens when we drop the mask and speak from our core. Yeah, we speak from our core. That's powerful, guys. So each of these habits is a stepping stone to a deeper, more meaningful connection set base that can happen. Don't just communicate, connect. Speak from your heart. All right, that's very, very important. Listen with your soul and lead every conversation with the intention to understand, not just to understand. That is very, very key, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope that tonight has been a very interesting episode for you guys, because so many people open their mouths and it's great. But if you don't know what they're trying to say, they might sound very intelligent. But if you have no idea what they're trying to communicate, it's completely a waste of time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's always a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you guys in the amazing shows here, including Inspirations for Your Life. Do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. I'll catch you guys real soon.